everyone, welcome to this another beautiful short session, I would say, because we have learned a lot about force. And yes, there's something which I always tell you. Science, it's there in the books, but you know what? How do you experience science? When you experience and apply those concepts in the real world, that's where the real science lies, right? So yes, you have learned about force, you have learned about pressure, but how about we take these concepts and apply in a game we all love? What do you say? Cricket. So today we are going to apply these concepts and understand the science behind hitting off a ball, a cricket ball specifically, right? So what do you think? Shall we go? All right. So how many of you are cricket fans over there? We all love that roaring sound in the stadium, right? The moment a bowler takes a run up, he starts charging towards the pitch, and the eyes of the batsman just towards the bowler and the ball. He's looking, he's waiting for the bowler to just throw the ball, and he's going to anticipate and he's going to swing his bat such that the ball goes flying high, right? That's the beauty of the game. So many people, just because they want to send the ball either to the wicket or to a catch, this is the fielding side, and from the batting side, all they want is to send the ball out of the boundary. They want a 6, they want a 4, they want 2s, they want 1s, right? It's a game which we all love. But you know what? There is great science in this game hidden about force. Today we are going to unravel that science, and you know what? Let's do it together. Come on, we'll do a lot of activities also in this session, so please focus. Alright, so what happens? Things, you know what, are not as simple as we think. It's not just about hitting a ball. It's not like you just have to swing the bat and hit the ball wherever it goes. There's a lot of tactics over there, a lot of plan, a lot of experience, and a lot of science also. If you want to agree right now, it's okay. But you know what? By the end of the session, I'm hopeful you will agree with this. Why? Let's see what is the science behind hitting this ball. So, the ball comes charging towards the bat, and the bat makes a swing, and there's a sweet sound coming from that sweet spot from the bat. Tuck! And then what happens? The ball just starts running towards the boundary. In between, if it finds a fielder, it's a catch. Or it goes towards a 4 or a 6, right? That's what happens. Okay. So, what happens, at least from our side, people who are trying to unravel the science behind this thing, how we can say? It's an interaction between a bat and a ball. And what about force? What is force? Force only comes into picture when there is an interaction between two bodies. Alright. See, this is how we are connecting the dots, right? So yes, when the bat hits the ball, there is an interaction happening. Alright. We can say force also comes into picture when the two bodies interact. Means somehow we are talking about force. When the ball is hit, when the bat is hitting the ball, there is an interaction, means there is a force coming into picture. Alright, let's see. But what direction would the ball move in? Is it like any direction? No, it's not actually. Why? Because whichever direction you swing the bat, or more specifically I would say, whichever direction you apply the force, the ball moves in that direction. Look, if you hit the bat to the ball from this side, the ball goes in the opposite side, right? Correct? Okay. Now, if I reverse the direction, if I hit the ball from this side, it goes in that particular side. Alright. So, let's see it in real time. And you know what? I'm going to use this nice ping pong ball. Let me show it to you over here. You can see, it's a nice bouncy ping pong ball, right? And you know what? I have two, just for the sake of backup, right? So, okay, I'm going to use this one first. So, and where's my bat? You know what? What if I just use my phone for this? Alright. So, what did we just say? If the ball was just sitting nicely, right? If the ball was just sitting nicely, what would happen if you hit the ball from this side? We all know. The ball will go on that side. Nice. Fine. If you hit the ball from this side, what happens? If you hit the ball from this side, it goes on the other side. Fine. Okay, so what are we saying? We are saying that the direction in which you apply the force, you see a body changing its state in that direction, right? So let's go technical. The ball was at rest. The moment the bat interacted with the ball, a force was applied. The force brought the ball to motion. In which direction? in the direction the force was applied, right? So when I'm hitting the ball, the force is applied in this direction, means the ball is going to go into a state of motion in that direction. Same thing over here. Same thing with any direction. You know what? If I push it here, same thing, push it here, same thing, right? It's easy to understand. Fine. So what do we conclude from this, right? That's important. Enjoying is okay, but you know what? We need to conclude something because we are learning from the game, right? So that's why. What do we conclude? Let's see. We can conclude that the ball moves in the direction we apply the force. All right. Nice. Nice conclusion. Okay. Now, second learning. How far will the ball go? So the faster you swing the bat, the farther the ball will go. That's kind of true. But you know what? Let's break down this casual statement. How fast you swing the bat. I would say the more force you apply on the ball, the more it will whoop go, right? The more it will travel, right? So that's why. Same thing. If this was a ball sitting nicely and idly, if I put a force, okay. But what if I do it? Higher the force, higher will be the motion. The ball attains and farther it will go, right? So that's why. We are also talking about not just the direction of force. We are also talking about how much force you are applying. So take care. There are two things we are talking about. One is in which direction you are applying the force. Second is how much force you are applying, because that's what we are seeing. More the force, the farther the ball will travel, right? So let's take this understanding forward. So what did we just learn? We say the harder we hit the ball, the farther it goes. Nice, right? Nice. So from these two learnings, what do we understand about force? Force has a direction also. And you know what? It has a magnitude also. Now don't be confused with this word magnitude, because this seems to be like a very heavy word. But you know what? Magnitude is same thing. The thing which you and me are talking right now, how much force, right? That is magnitude. That is the same thing as magnitude. Is the force 10 units or 20 units? What is unit? See, you all know it is Newton. The unit of force is Newton. But the 10, 20, 30, 40, it's the magnitude. Direction is, sir, in north direction, in northwest, or in that direction, or in that direction. So when you talk about force, you need to talk about how much, that is the magnitude, and in which direction, that is the direction of force. Now when you combine these two things, there is a specific quantity which takes care of these two things simultaneously. It is the vector quantities, right? So force is a vector quantity, correct? Force is a vector quantity, and one small thing which we just learned is the unit of force is newtons. It's okay. Simple thing, you can remember it, fine. Nice. So this is what we have learned. So let's take into account now another cases where I would say till now the ball was at rest and we were hitting it, right? We were applying force on that sitting nicely rested ball. But what if the ball was moving? What do we see? Okay, I'll tell you. Let's see. So what if the ball was moving? The baller takes a nice run up. It's okay, we are talking about a pacer right now. So it takes a nice run up and then he comes towards the pitch and whoa, he throws a ball. And what happens? The batsman is just waiting and he's like tuck or woof or cover drive or straight drive. He does all these things. No, he is applying a force now on a moving ball, a ball which was coming towards him. So let's say the ball was coming towards him and batsman did tuck. What happened? It was a straight drive. The ball was coming in this direction and now after the batsman hit it, it goes back zoop, right? And sometimes the bowler also tries to catch it, by the way. If he can, it's a very good catch. If he cannot, it's okay. Yeah. It was a fast ball. He could have hurt himself, right? That's why. So this is what happens in a straight drive. And let me show you actually what happens. A lofted straight drive. What is lofted? Lofted means, I would say, with a height, right? Heightened. So a lofted straight drive, it goes like this. Similarly, you can see Josh Butler hitting a nice straight drive. So what is happening in a straight drive? You are applying force in the forward direction. Now, let me show it to you practically. So what happens? Let's say this is my bat and this is the bowler, the ball coming from this side. Right? You have to swing the bat. It's okay. I have another ball. You swing the bat and the ball goes in the forward direction. Now, what I want you to understand over here is, think, see, the ball was coming in this direction, the force is applied in this direction, and it has to reverse complete direction. It has to go back straight. Okay. So just keep this in mind, because I'm going to ask one important question from you. Okay, fine. All right. So this was about the straight drive. Fine. So let's see the cover drive. So what happens in a cover drive? The ball comes and you give it nice towards the covers. You give a nice drive and the ball goes towards the cover. That's what we call as a cover drive, right? So let me show it to you. The ball comes towards the batsman and the batsman does this and the ball goes towards the cover. That's what we call as a cover drive, right? Fine. Let us see how it looks. Watch. Nice, right? So this is a cover drive. There's one thing which you need to notice over here. See, when the ball was coming for the batsman and the batsman gives a nice tuck, it goes in this, right, towards the covers. In the first case, in the straight drive, it was going back. Here, it is going in this direction, right? This is what is happening, correct? So, what is different? The direction in which the ball is going after the force is applied on that. Now, what I want you to think is about the magnitude. Let's think about the magnitude. See, direction is always, it's different, because in the first case, direction was in this. Second case, it was here, right? At least we can say it was not the same, the exact as the first one. Fine. What about magnitude? Because you know what? Force is such an intuitive term. We have been using it in our daily life. And you know what? We can say, यहाँ पे ज़्यादा ताकत लगाना पड़ा. You had to apply more force in this case or less. So think, in cover drive and straight drive, in which case you had to apply more force? Can you guess that? It's okay. I'll give you one more drive and then I'm hoping you can give me the answer. Fine, let's see. Let's take a scoop shot. Now, scoop shots are considered, normally people go for them when they are so desperate and they have to try something new, right? The ball comes and they do was a nice touch to the ball and the ball goes back behind the batsman, right? So this is what a scoop shot is. Now let's see. This is a very nice scoop shot. Whoa, right? Beautiful. We all love to watch scoop shots, correct? Right? Okay. Now let's see a reverse scoop shot also. Same thing. Just look how nicely the bat touches the ball and the ball goes behind. So you know what? Scoop shots are really easy, or I would say they are more beneficial when you apply them for a pacer, because what you are doing is you are actually using the pace of the ball, the pace which the bowler imparted to the ball. You are using the same pace and just giving it a nice direction, nice touch, and it goes back, right? In a scoop shot, at least we are pretty much confident that in a straight drive and a scoop shot, amount of force applied is more in the case of a straight drive, right? Because you are hitting it directly. In a scoop shot, you are just giving a nice touch to it, right? So similarly, cover drive is in between both of them. So what are we telling you? If more is the magnitude in change in direction of the ball, right? So you are hitting the ball straight, it goes straight. On this side, cover drive. This scoop shot. So in a scoop shot, the force applied is very, very minimal, right? You are just using the pace of the ball, right? In a straight drive, you are actually putting up a lot of effort in hitting it straight and then making it go towards the boundary, right? So that's why in terms of scoop shot, in terms of cover drive, in terms of a straight drive, the amount of force is least in the scoop shot and most in the straight drive. In these three, by the way, right? So, nice. With this, what we have learned, that force has magnitude and direction, and it matters how you are using both of them, correct? Now, let's take one more case. What if the ball was of clay? So why are we talking about clay? Because you know what? There is something we learn about force, because force can bring a ball or bring an object into rest to motion. An object into motion to rest, and that's what happens, no? When, let's say, a bowler catches a ball. The ball was moving, you applied force, you brought it to rest, right? So you can actually apply a force and make a body come to rest also, fine. Now, you can also change direction, fine. There's one more thing, change shape. How do you imagine that? So let's take one case. What if the ball was of clay? What is so special about clay? I'll tell you, see. Special thing about clay is, it's not as elastic as other objects are, at least the ping pong ball which we're using. So when a ball when the clay ball comes towards the bat and the batsman applies the same force like, oh, tuck, what will happen? It'll break. It'll break, it'll burst. It can happen. But the thing is, the shape will not be the same as it was before, right? The ball stops and changes shape on applying force. So let's try, because you know what? I never tried this using a clay ball. Let's see. Let's see what happens when we use a clay ball. This is my bat, right? This is my bat. Let's say a full toss ball comes. What do you see? And you know what? You will notice that wherever I was hitting, there is a flat surface there. There is no bounce. Why? Because it changes shape. And the more an object changes shape and does not retain the shape back, means it cannot bounce. That is the thing about clay ball. It won't work. So, what is the force doing to this clay ball? It is changing the shape. And you know what? We have learned this in the book. Force can also change the shape of an object. Same thing we are seeing over here, right? That's how we learn things. Books with practical, right? So that's why. What have we learned? That it can also change the shape of the ball. So if we summarize everything we have learned today, the bat interacts with the ball by applying force, which is a vector quantity with magnitude and direction. All right. This force can cause rest to motion. It can bring a body at rest into motion, right? Second, it can bring a body in motion to rest. Fine. All right. Next, this force can cause change in direction. We saw that, right? Straight drive, cover drive, scoop shot. All these were what? They were change in direction. And yes, magnitude is also different, right? So that's why. Second, change in shape. The clay ball. The reason we tried this thing with the clay ball is because we wanted to see if the shape can change or not. That's why, right? So, let me ask you something. If you understood all these, let me ask you one small thing. First, let me tell you, right? Quantities which don't have direction are called as scalar quantities because we know the vector ones, and scalars are just opposite to them. They just need a magnitude. How much is your mass? You can tell that, right? That is what? That is scalar quantity. What is the time? Scalar quantity, correct? Fine, okay. Next, like mass, temperature. Now, can you think of more scalar quantities from your daily life? See, I have given you 2-3 examples. I want you to think more. Think of more scalar quantities and let us know in the comment section below. And you know what? Till then, keep learning. And you know what? Learn like a student, but think like a scientist. Take care. Bye-bye.